Making the decision to pay upwards of $500 to have someone come out and inspect a property that you do not even own yet can be daunting, especially depending on how many houses you look at over your purchasing journey. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and in today's video, I am talking about building and pest inspections, if they're worth it and what you need to know. When house hunting, you might be keen on several properties, so weighing up if it's worth paying an expert to come and inspect and check out each and every one you're looking at is an important decision you need to make. Within Australia, under certain buying conditions, there's something known as a cooling off period, and during this period of time, this is once an offer has been accepted by a vendor, it allows the purchaser to carry out any necessary checks to look for defects and issues with that property in that period of time. A building and pest inspection is designed for this exact purpose. It is a service which aims to provide a visual assessment of a property with the intention to find as many existing defects as possible. The report should also provide an overview of the general condition of the property, and I'll take you through an example of one of mine that I've received in the past in a moment. If the inspection ends up finding something of serious concern, it can allow the purchasers to avoid making a huge financial mistake. In simple terms, a building and pest inspection should provide useful information to those who are not aware of any issues that they might be walking into. And this is especially important considering a purchase of a property or a house is not going to be a cheap endeavor. The question I often get when talking about building and pest inspections is, when are they really worthwhile paying for? And in my honest opinion, whenever you really truly have access to them, unless you really know exactly what you're looking for. Older homes are most likely going to have some things wrong with them. The older the house, the longer they've had to resist the elements. On the flip side, however, new builds are often built with defects that should be fixed before payment is made to the seller. Otherwise, those costs are going to fall into your lap. Time constraints, the cost of materials rising, and tradespeople who lack experience can all be contributing factors to these defects, which, like I said, if they're not picked up before you make those payments, they will cost you to fix in the long run. Okay, let's go through an example. I'm going to take you through the inspection report that I received from a qualified building and pest inspector for the purchase of my first property. The report is fairly comprehensive in my own opinion, and I think that it sheds a lot of light on what you would expect to get out of one of these reports. It starts off by providing details about the build type, some background information on the styles of the home, and the overall condition. The person who inspected my property provided photos of the areas of the house I was unable to inspect myself. They also provided details about any findings of those areas, which was a nice reassurance that nothing was wrong in places that I couldn't personally look. For example, here on page 5, the inspector provides an overview of the roof condition, gutters, downpipes, and stormwater drainage. He checked for any signs of salt damp, both inside and outside the house, using tools that I didn't have access to at the time I was purchasing. He checked any and all fixed appliances, such as the hot water system, and provided useful background information about the unit that was installed. The report also provided information making sure the home was compliant with the law. As an example, all South Australian homes must be fitted with a working smoke alarm to avoid any legal and insurance issues in the event of an incident. Minor checks of the exterior fences, walkways, and any significant trees were also taken into consideration. Thankfully, this property didn't have any significant trees. Probably would have noticed during my own inspection period, but nonetheless, I'm glad that he took that into consideration. The condition of each room, detailing the walls, ceilings, and fittings, were mentioned throughout the report as well. He climbed into the roof and had a wander around to make sure there were no signs of leaking, rodents, or missing insulation. And most importantly, the inspection searched in all appropriate locations for any signs of termites. Termites are not always covered in insurance policies and can absolutely be a pain in the ass to deal with. This is probably one of the most important things to be reviewing the report for if you do decide to get one. In the summary section, it also mentioned that in some instances, sellers try to camouflage faults which might go unnoticed, and he even put a disclaimer in there saying that for this property, there appears to have been no deliberate and recent camouflaging attempts, which again added to my own peace of mind. One thing to note was that this report did not include an asbestos inspection, which may be required depending on the type of property you're looking at buying. And then at the very end of the report, some definitions and extra photos were provided, which was a nice addition as well. Like I said, this report was fairly comprehensive. I'm certain that if there were any serious faults, they probably would have been picked up by the individual who did this inspection. So overall, I was happy with what I had paid for. So just quickly now, let's talk about what some of the risks with paying for one of these reports are. First one being that you're paying for something that is for general information only. It is not legally binding. If the person who carries out your inspection misses something important, which ends up costing you a sum of money down the line, you are the only person who is going to be footing that bill. The other kind of risk is paying for a building and pest inspection, but not actually purchasing the house after you've got one. I had a friend who went to multiple auctions with the intention to buy them, and because he was really eager to purchase these properties, he got a building and pest inspection carried out before the auction, but didn't actually win an auction, meaning he was out of pocket a few $1,000s on all of the properties he had paid for them for, but not actually ended up purchasing, which would suck a little bit because that money could have gone towards the deposit, it could have gone towards the mortgage, or it could have gone to any repairs that needed to be done on the property, or he could have just gone and put it all on red at the casino. The point is he kind of burnt money to gather useful information that was now kind of pointless. In the opposite direction, there is a perk with paying for a building and pest inspection if you're purchasing an investment property. When you eventually one day down the line go to sell that property, you generally can declare the cost against your tax, or the tax that you would have had to pay on the profit if you made a profit when selling that home. So it's a little perk. It's not overly a lot of money, but it is still something worth mentioning. So in my opinion, are they worth it? Well, I decided to get one for the purchase of my first property. The house that I purchased was well kept and a relatively new build. However, at the time, I was not confident in my ability to do these checks accurately, so decided to pay an expert to do it for me. It was insightful to learn what is specifically looked for and where it's looked for and what is taken into consideration, which helped me with the purchase of my next property, where I did a lot of the checks that were within the report I had received from my previous home. I think overall, a building and pest inspection can help put someone's mind at ease, especially for those who need that extra confidence boost when considering purchasing a property. Just don't get too carried away. You should really only be getting one done on a property that you're considering making a serious offer on, or a property that you've essentially secured, meaning the vendor has accepted your offer and you're now in cooling off. And if you're in that cooling off period, you definitely want to have one teed up, be organized, and reach out to a few of them well before that date comes. And that is pretty much all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If it was insightful, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel grow. It does not go unnoticed, and I really appreciate the support. And with that being said, I will leave you there. Have a good day, have a good week, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.